Next up, at UFC Vegas 92, we have Tamires Vidal taking on Melissa Gatto in a somewhat short notice fight. Just a few days ago, just 2 days ago, Melissa Gatto was the biggest favorite on this card. She was -4 whatever the hell, something wildly unreasonable. And that line seems to be tightening. It seems to be closing up just a little bit. We got Tamires Vidal, 7-2 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She is coming off of her first UFC loss. She's taking on Melissa Gatto. That means cat. 8-2 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5. She's looking to come back after a canceled fight at UFC Atlantic City. And I get why people are hating on Tamires Vidal here. Her last outing was not great. She was a little bit exposed in that fight. But if you zoom out, you look at the rest of her career and her skill set, she's pretty good. She's a former soccer player. She's got a BJJ brown belt. She immediately starts looking to get fights to the ground and work some takedowns. She throws those big typical overhands and press you against the cage. Once she gets you to the ground, she's chasing submissions. She's dangerous on top. She can be dangerous off her back. She's always looking for something. The striking, that's what happens when I talk too fast. The striking is almost non-existent. It's literally just the bombs to close the distance. There's nothing else there. She is coming off that loss to Montserrat Rendon. She was a bit embarrassed. She was a favorite, and that didn't go well for her. She was taken down 3 times. Got none of her own. But I think we have seen how good Montserrat Rendon actually is since then. But she's taking on Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto is a grappler. People are doing 1 + 1 = 2. Montserrat Rendon took Tamires down. So will Melissa Gatto. And I get it. If you look at her fights, she's got very good BJJ. The problem for her, though, is her BJJ is better off her back than it is on top. So if you do take her down, she'll hang out. No sense of urgency, doesn't try to stand up. She'll just hang out and try to get submissions off her back. She is primarily a grappler. She does have some decent striking, though. It'll be technical. She'll throw things out there. She'll hang out for a striking fight. But then she's going to work in takedowns. They can be hit or miss. They're not very good, or at least they're not good enough to shoot full-blown takedowns from distance. But if she sets them up with the strikes, then she could have a little bit of success there. She is coming off that loss to Ariana Lipski, though, where she went 0 for 7 in takedown attempts. Melissa Gatto is no longer the biggest favorite on the card. But when she was, it made less than no sense. Okay, Melissa Gatto is coming up in weight. She's moving up a weight class. She's stepping up on somewhat short notice. She's coming off 2 losses in a row. Her last fight, she went 0 for 7 in takedown attempts. She hasn't won a fight in 2 years. I understand picking Melissa Gatto to win this fight. I understand saying Tamires was just taken down a couple of times and it could happen again. I get that logic. But for her to be these odds, I think are crazy. I think Melissa Gatto should be a -150 favorite if you believe in the wrestling. I'm actually going to go the other way and pick Tamires Vidal here. I think her last fight was more about how good Montserrat Rendon is and less about Tamires being a fraud. She is big. She's strong. She has those big soccer legs that she can kick. If she gets takedowns of her own, she's very dangerous, and she has a BJJ brown belt. Of course, she can be taken down and ridden out. We literally just watched that happen. But we've also seen Melissa not get takedowns. I'm leaning Vidal here. She's going to be the pick. And I wish I had the nuts to bet on her when she was plus 380 or whatever the hell she was just 2 days ago. I have a feeling you and I are going to disagree. What do you think, Jakey Bumbleoats?
Yeah, Vidal showed in her last. She's just not good. I don't even think she's UFC level. The worst part about it was in a close fight, she wasn't good in that fight. She was sloppy in that fight. She looked like she didn't give a shit in that fight. And the worst part about it, that was such a close fight still, because Rendon is not that great of a fighter either. That was such a close.
Come on.
Who
did Rendon just get screwed out of beating?
The Russian. I was at the fight. That was such a close fight until the end, and Vidal still, it's like if she just did anything more, and gave any more effort than she gave in that fight, she could have won that fight even in a bad performance, but she didn't. I mean, she just looked like she just did not give a shit, didn't have that push, didn't have that fire. She looks like she is one of those girls that is all hammer and no nail, and the second you push back a little bit, she's just like lackadaisical. Her corner just like screaming at her to do this and that. She just won't do it. I think she had like a one blitz in each round where like, oh my God, there she is. And then she's like, and just starts being lazy about it. Melissa has fought better competition. Those were tough fights. She got out-grappled by Tracy, but that's what Tracy does. She outstruck by Ariane, but that's going to happen. I don't think Vidal is a UFC level fighter. I think Melissa can do whatever she wants in this fight. She's going to be way better in the striking, way better in the grappling, and I think she can get those takedowns that Vidal's just going to eventually give up. If not in the first round, eventually in the second round, I think she can finish this girl on the ground. So I'm very high on Melissa Gatto.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I totally get the logic picking Melissa Gatto. I get it. I do think Tamires Vidal is better than her last fight. You're right. That was not a good, that was embarrassing.
Sometimes
and she
you
was
are who you are. And I mean, she was fucking terrible.
Wasn't she like a minus 400 favorite too? Like she was a tremendous favorite in that fight.
Yeah, because I thought, Lily, I thought that's who she was. And then she literally laid up and acted like she didn't care while doing it. That's the worst part. Like, if you come in, UFC debut, and you're having issues, but you're trying to work through it, and you look like you're at least giving effort, it's like, okay, you can clean that up, right? We've seen what you did in the past, but the mental attitude in that fight was like, just sloppy and lazy, and just like, you could tell that she could go for it, because she had those spurts where she's like, boom, 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 and then she was just like, duh, duh, duh. It's like, you don't outgrow that.
I agree. And honestly, that's what Loopy struggles with. Loopy is very talented, but sometimes just doesn't give a shit. Does weird things. So I get all of that. And I don't have a bet on Tamires Vidal. But I haven't given on her just yet. Somebody commented, please don't call Montserrat good or decent. She is utter shit. I don't think Montserrat Rendon sucks.
I don't think she's very good.
We do. We have completely different reads on some of these women. Listen, and
There's
we
a
all
reason
know
why I loaded up on Vidal. I think she was like a 2 or 3 unit bet for me in that fight, because I'm like, oh, Rendon is slow. She can't do anything. And she came in that fight first round. I'm like, oh, this will be easy, because Rendon was slow, couldn't do anything, and then Vidal just shit the fucking bed.
Listen, and then she just came out and basically won that last fight because she came forward and she grappled. She can grapple. She can get takedowns. This entire fight, I think we both agree, is just going to come down to, can Melissa Gatto take down Vidal, right?
No, she can win the striking. If there's no takedown, she'll easily win the striking.
Yeah, I just don't think there'll be a lot of striking, because Tamires just bombs and runs against the cage.
There was pretty much all striking in that last fight, where there shouldn't have been, probably.
Yeah, but that was because Rendon was the much better wrestler in that matchup.
Gatto's a better wrestler here.
You're not worried about the up and weight?
No, she's a strong girl. I think she might excel at 135, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, she is jacked. She's not Ariana Carnelosi, but she is jacked. Well, Jakey Boy and I are split on this fight. We are two different people. Somebody sent an email the other day saying, hey, you guys are split. What should I do? So then you are the tiebreaker. Jacob and I are completely different human beings that read fights differently, see things differently. We occasionally have bets on opposite sides of fights. So we're not going to agree on every single thing, and then it's going to be up to you to pick a side or just ignore the fight. We are absolutely split on this. I'm not 100% confident in Tamires Vidal, but I am also not. I mean, I disagree with these odds. This should be minus 150. I think that's what this should be.
It would be my biggest bet of the year.
If it was minus 150, $10,000. Well, either way, we don't have DraftKings pricing for it just yet, because this is a short notice fight. Melissa Gatto was in camp. She was ready to go for UFC Atlantic City a month ago. That was canceled. I don't know what she's been doing since then, if she's been working out or not, but here she is. Doesn't have to cut the weight, stepping up, getting herself a fight. If you do want to check out the bets.
I've got 2 bets on her. So
there you go. If you do want to check out the bets that Jacob has with Melissa Gatto, you can do so now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire month. We have UFC 302 is the next event that will be included for the $10. So $5 for this, $5 for that, $250 for a week. Easiest decision you'll ever make. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. We have another 5 spot from Dr. Y. I want you to fight your neighbor and teach him how to behave like Jacob is today. All right, first of all, I'm happy to smack that pale dork, if you're watching, that short, pale dork neighbor of mine. Also, there is no such thing as teaching Jacob to behave. Jacob is more his own person than anybody I have ever met in my entire life. As frustrating as that is, it is admirable. You cannot force him to do anything. He'll just dig in. If you want him to do something, he doesn't want to do it. It's literally impossible to get him to do it. I have learned, how long we've been doing this? 3 years?
Just say no.
We've had, and I wouldn't say we've had like major fights, but there were many times where I am a bully and I tried to bully you into doing stuff like, Jacob, where the fuck is it? And you're just like, nah, fuck you, I'm not doing that shit. And then I just wouldn't hear from you for a week. So,
well, I mean, literally so we could keep this channel going, I said, don't fucking pay me because I'd rather just fucking do it and not have to deal with your bullshit.
And that was early on when Jacob was doing all the graphics because I get, you guys can figure out by now, I'm kind of a workhorse. I was talking to somebody else in this space last week, and they're pretty big in this space, and we were just having a conversation about a couple things, and he like made an offer. They were just texting, I'm way tanner than you. What an insecure, so insecure. Beige shirt looks, oh, okay. Very insecure of you. And he was like, would you want to do this or are you addicted to the work? And I was like, I'm addicted to the work. I'm addicted to it. I'm obsessed with the numbers. And that's why there's a video every Sunday, whatever. And where I'm going with this is that's how I am across the board. So when Jacob was doing the graphics, I was like, I need the graphic. I need this. I need that. And he's like, no, fuck you. We don't need that right now. And so then he was like, listen, I'm just going to stop doing the graphics. And this is before we made any real money. I'm just going to stop doing the graphics, so don't pay me. And then obviously things have changed. We've sorted it all out. But this is all back to that super chat. There is no putting Jacob in line. If he wants to be loud, he'll be loud. If he wants to be calm, he'll be calm. Jacob is his own person, and that's what I love him for. The neighbor is insisting I read this text. You'd think you were naked if it wasn't covering up your tattoo or nipple rings. First of all, nipple rings gone. Okay. Isn't your family awake? Shouldn't you be spending time with your family? Some people. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to wewantpicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.